Look into the atom, you get what you need. Look into magic, and you get what you need. Philosophy and art are in both. That's Bob Camblin for you.
Yeah.
A fascinating quote, right?
Oh, yeah. I love that one. So much packed into so few words, it gives you a sense of the man.
It does, doesn't it? And today, we're going deep
Deep dive.
into Bob Camblin.
Should be a good one.
Absolutely. You've pulled together a great collection of stuff.
Well, I tried. Let me know what you think.
Okay, we've got Camblin's own words, his quotes, which, as always, are insightful.
Uh-huh.
We have some bio info, exhibition history, and pieces from Zen and the Art of Enlightenment.
Oh, and don't forget that YouTube discussion.
Right, that too. So I'm hoping, and I think you are too, that we can understand Camblin, like really understand his artistic philosophy. Yeah, and see those recurring themes, the ideas that pop up over and over in his work.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, why does his art still speak to people? What's the lasting appeal?
So many great questions to explore. It's going to be fun to see where this deep dive takes us.
It is. Okay, let's start with Camblin's words. I mean, his quotes are a direct line to his thinking.
Makes sense. Dive right in.
Okay, so this one, bright gray through common sense, between science and magic.
Oh, that's a good one to start with.
It is, isn't it? What's your take?
Well, it tells me Camblin wasn't interested in simple answers, black and white.
Uh-huh.
He wanted nuance, science, and magic, this bright gray space in between.
It's forward thinking, right, to combine those two. Back then, art and science were considered opposites, like totally separate.
Right, like different universes. But for Camblin, it seems like they were two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, here's another one. The sixth sense is to be without a doubt.
Okay, that's deep. Intuition as a form of knowing.
It feels that way, right? Not just a hunch, but real certainty.
Yeah, and if you tie it back to the bright gray idea, maybe intuition isn't irrational. Maybe it's where the logic and the feeling meet.
Where it all clicks into place, without a doubt.
Right, and notice, he doesn't say without a thought. It's not about ignoring your brain. It's about a different kind of knowing.
This makes me think about his nature quotes, finding something that completes you and then surrendering to it.
Oh, that's very Zen, isn't it? Like aligning yourself with the natural order of things, accepting it.
And maybe not even accepting it, but becoming part of it, not fighting it.
Exactly. Not being separate, but flowing with it.
Okay, buckle up. Here's where it gets interesting. Art for art's sake has become art for life's sake, or art for my sake, or art for survival's sake.
Wow. Yeah, he's basically saying art isn't some detached thing anymore. It's about life itself. Survival, even.
So art goes from this like high-minded ideal to something much more urgent, more grounded in reality.
And maybe, just maybe, it's not just about his personal survival, Maybe he's talking about art's role in society's survival, too.
That's a really interesting thought. Okay, another one. Stepping off the train of thought to find deeper power.
That sounds meditative almost. Like quieting the mind to access something greater.
Like that train of thought is all the noise in our heads.
The constant chatter, the analysis, the judgments.
And he's saying, get off that train, find the stillness.
And there, in that quiet space, you find real power, a deeper kind of power.
And he loved paradoxes, balancing and being for and against.
Uh-huh. That's so Camblin. Embracing contradictions, not being afraid of complexity.
Because the truth is rarely simple.
Never is.
Mhm.
And he knew that. He was comfortable with that.
This one's so sharp. If you argue or if you agree, you may learn, but you do not communicate.
Oh, that's huge EE today.
Yeah.
Especially online. Everyone's arguing or just agreeing with their own echo chamber.
But where's the real communication, the understanding?
Exactly. He's saying that true communication is about something more than just winning an argument or getting a like.
It's about connection.
Yeah. Vulnerability, maybe? A willingness to actually see the other person's point of view.
I cannot tell a lie to myself for very long.
Inner honesty. That's the foundation of good art. And good living, probably.
To be able to confront your own truth.
Even the parts that are hard to look at. And to let that truth guide your work.
Last one. Revolution leads to changes. Evolution is change.
So he's differentiating between surface level change and deep fundamental change.
Revolution might be loud and flashy.
But evolution is subtle. It's about growth.
Okay, so his words give us a lot to think about. Let's turn to his life, his journey.
Let's do it.
Born in Oklahoma, 1928, Art was part of his life from the beginning.
Yeah, both parents were involved in the arts, so it was always around.
And he was the art director for his high school yearbook, already taking charge, you know.
Early signs of leadership and creativity.
Then the Kansas City Art Institute and his friendship with Forrest Harrisberger.
That was a key period, definitely. The GI Bill opened doors for so many after the war, and the Art Institute was a hotbed of talent.
Harrisberger and Camblin stayed connected, right?
Oh yeah, lifelong friends, shared a lot of artistic ideas.
The Fulbright to Italy in 1955, that had to be huge for him.
Transformative, for sure. Italy's artistic heritage is just immense.
And he spent time at the Uffizi Gallery and the Catacombe dei Cappuccini, which are, well, a bit different.
To say the least. Renaissance masterpieces on one hand, and then, well, skeletons arranged artistically.
A mix of beauty and mortality. Must made him think.
It's in his work, too. Remember that KPFT radio reference in his Birth of Venus? Italian art meets Texas radio. Camblin's blend.
And he traveled all over Europe during that time.
The travel bug bit him early. He loved exploring new places, new cultures.
Even after he came back and started teaching, he was always on the move.
Right, and then in 1976, he just went fully nomadic.
Art and travel, that was his life.
Supported himself through sales and commissions, but his work was hard to come by.
Which made it even more desirable, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Scarcity breeds, desire.
It does. Now, the Houston years were interesting.
Oh yeah, collaborations galore.
V&E Productions, the holding firm.
And those shows, the tattoo show and the camping show, so out there.
Totally pushing boundaries, challenging what art could be.
And Earl Staley said he learned so much from Camblin. Drawing, composition, the fundamentals.
It was a very vibrant art scene. And then there's this, signing his works anonymous or Mr. Peanut.
I love that. What a statement. A rejection of ego.
Putting the art first, the message first.
Yeah, Mr. Peanut adds this layer of humor too, Like he's not taking himself too seriously.
Later, he moved to Oregon, then Louisiana. But his last trip back to Houston, it sounds like he felt a little disconnected.
Maybe the Houston he knew was gone. Or maybe he was just in a different place in his life, always moving forward.
Let's talk about his art, his early work, very social commentary driven.
Yeah, strong outlines, flat colors, a lot of protest themes in the 1950s. Then he started blending that social realism with more abstract forms.
Exploring human symbols.
Exactly. You see the influences of artists like Cremoni, even those ancient Etruscan figures.
Then the Muchas Volantes series in the 1980s. That's wild.
Oh yeah, that was a big shift. Optical illusions, dots and dashes, creating movement, visual instability.
Very Escher-like, or maybe Dali.
It's participatory art, The viewer has to work to make sense of it.
He had recurring motifs, too. Scarecrows, gloves, machines, masks.
In the same Bambola series, don't forget the jars of water.
So many symbols. What do they mean?
Well, each one's like a little puzzle. The scarecrows, he got that from Guntergrass, represent change, impermanence, maybe a little absurdity.
Gloves could be connection or the lack of it.
Hidden things. Masks, too, of course. Identity. Performance.
St. Bambola was very personal, right?
Yeah, his own artistic evolution, almost like a self-portrait in symbol form.
And the jars of water.
Earl Staley said those were about stumbling blocks becoming stepping stones, turning obstacles into clarity.
His drawing style was so unique. Large scale, visible corrections.
No defined light source, cross-hatching everywhere to create movement.
And he often put words right into the drawings.
Well, yeah, inspired by Tom Wolfe's ideas about art, and those Sherlock Holmes mysteries, he loved a good mystery.
So the text becomes part of the puzzle. Clues, red herrings.
Making the viewer think, engage.
He said he wanted to remake Goya in 20th century terms. Question reality, go beyond surrealism.
That's ambitious, but it shows his mindset. He wanted to connect with art history, but also push it forward.
Like Goya, he wasn't afraid of dark themes, of challenging norms.
But with Camblin, there's this added layer of philosophy. It's not just shock value, it's deeper than that.
Okay, let's talk Seve dollars.
That's a classic.
A commentary on money, on value.
The dollar bill, that iconic symbol, but he twists it. The bearded elderly artist as Red Stick the Pirate, Seve instead of Seven. Nonsense inscriptions.
And there are links to Zen philosophy and the I Ching.
Yeah, it's about detachment from material things, recognizing that value is often an illusion.
And the I Ching connection.
The hexagram Kwai, resoluteness, getting rid of the fake, the corrupt, to make way for the true, like he's critiquing the whole system.
It's like a Zen koan, right? Making you question your assumptions.
Exactly. And it fits into those art movements, too. Dada, surrealism,
Duchamp, Warhol.
taking familiar objects and making them strange, making them say something new.
Like Banksy does today.
Exactly. It's a timeless tactic.
The Art of Everything review talked about this blend of visual and philosophical.
And art as questions, not answers.
Transforming everyday objects into symbols. The figure 4 trap, the tattooed arm, the frog.
Each one representing something bigger. Entanglement, history, stillness.
And the book explores these traps we fall into. Fear, time, self-made traps.
But also the power of stillness. It's a journey inward.
It's not giving you answers, but making you ask the right questions.
Like his art. Riddles disguised as structures.
The foreword talks about Zen and the I Ching influencing art history.
The importance of intuition, interconnectedness, cycle.
And you see all that in Camblin's work.
Yep.
The abstraction, the symbols, the recurring cycles.
It's almost like a form of meditation. You look at his art, and it sparks this inner dialogue. Deep stuff emerges.
So Camblin's legacy, he's remembered as committed, talented, enigmatic.
A portal into truly experiencing art.
People who knew him were really impacted by his work.
It wasn't just about looking at it, it was about reading it, unpacking it.
He influenced other artists, Earl Staley especially.
And he was always questioning, never satisfied with easy answers.
Carolyn Farb saw his art as autobiographical, his life story told in visual form.
And it's great that he's being rediscovered. He deserves a wider audience.
So Bob Camblin, hard to categorize. He was funny, mysterious, and insightful all at once.
His art pulls you in, makes you think, makes you feel.
And he drew on so many influences, from Zen to surrealism, from his own life to the world around him.
For you, the learner, his work is a perfect example of how to gain knowledge in a different way.
It's not about being spoon-fed facts. It's about experiencing, feeling your way to understanding.
Exactly. It's about those aha moments, the sudden insights.
This whole deep dive has been full of those. What stands out for you?
Honestly, it's the anonymity. Signing his work as anonymous in a world obsessed with fame, that's powerful.
It's like he's saying the art matters more than the artist.
And maybe we could all learn from that. What would happen if we let go of our need for recognition? Could we create more freely?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. What would happen if we embraced a little anonymity, if we focused on the work, not the credit?
I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth exploring. And I think Camblin would agree.
He probably would. So listeners, go out there and find Camblin's art, do your own deep dive, see what you discover.
You won't regret it.
And with that, we're done.
Until next time.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.